Hey there, this is K4A, Knowledge for All Educational Videos channel. In this video today we are continuing with learning GameMaker Studio 2 drag and drop action blocks, and in this video today we are going to try to learn how and when to use action block which is called set score. So in previous video we have learned how to use get score. Today we are going to change that score and use the set score action block for it. On our screen, if I start the game, we have some simple yellow coin which has some code on it, and that code says show me the score in top left of the screen, and the score is 0 by default by GameMaker. So this variable which you get by drag and dropping this block get score will be 0 always by default, and you can rename it by clicking this target field and changing the name. I have called it var score to symbolize variable score. The other stuff which we have learned is that you have to show that if you want to show that on the screen, that score value, you have to use some kind of block to draw it on the screen, and we have used draw value. We have added caption and added value score for variable. That's all cool, but that's 0 by default as we just said, and the other problem is that that will never change unless we tell the GameMaker Studio to do that for us. So as we said before, game engines, they do not think like humans or understand some things which we understand as humans by default. So you have to tell them to get the score, to show it on the screen, to set the score, to show it on the screen, and so on. So it's like always a back and forth. So in this video today, it's going to be a little bit longer than previous one, and what I'm going to, because I'm going to show you a couple of maybe more advanced stuff. It's not such a advanced topic, but it will be useful for you guys who want to dive deeper into game development and make more complex games. We're going to make some kind of game manager, and we're also going to show how to change the score with it, and that will be useful for your games because, for example, I will use it on example of player which is collecting coins, and that is very common in games nowadays. You always have to collect some kind of stuff in your games: coins, potions, weapons, and so on, and we will learn that, and we will learn how to change the score. Again, you can use that change of score, for example, to change the number of coins which you have collected, but you can also use it to change the points when you kill enemies or when you finish the race in some racing game, and so on. So it's a universal topic, and you will use it sooner or later in your games if you make more complex games. So first of all, the problem which I have with my game is that I have only one coin in my game. If I want to add more, it's easy. I just find the OBJ coin at my asset browser and click and drag it into my room where I want it. So I want, for example, 4 coins. And what will happen now, because I have coded some stuff in my OBJ coin with some drag and drop blocks which we have explained in earlier videos. Now every coin, every one of these 4 coins will show the same stuff which I have coded here. So it will draw itself. It will say, okay, give me this a value for which will be randomized. We did that here in create event, randomize and get random number, and put it here in draw value. Then we said, okay, get me the score, tell me the score, and put it in variable var score, and then show that score on the screen. I will show it now. I will disable this draw value for random number generator. I don't need that for now because I want this score to show more clearly, and because it will show a couple of times. And why is that so? As I just said, because this coin here and this coin here and this coin here and this coin here, they are all instances, copies of this obj coin. And that's how GameMaker and other game engines work. When you drag and drop object into the screen, onto the screen, into the room, into the level, it creates a copy of itself. It creates so-called instance. So every instance uses the same code here as the this master object, the object creator for it. So every coin will show the same code which this obj coin object has. So it will repeat 4 times, and every coin will show the score, give me the score, and the score will be 0 because it's 0 by default. So I just want to show you that, and to make this as some kind of bad example in terms of this wasn't smart for me to do it, but I did it on purpose just to show it this way, and how to make some kind of better code. And the whole process of when you as a programmer make some kind of code and then later in time make some better code for it, for some part of your program or game, that's called refactoring in most of the times. So again, something new which we have learned today, and that's a common process in game development and in game programming in general, because game development and programming and artwork is a very fast industry, and changes are always needed in terms of, sometimes the game designer will want something to be changed, sometimes you as a programmer or artist cannot do what the game designer needs, so you will have to settle for something smaller or less complex, and sometimes you will learn that later and come back, so change it and so on. Or sometimes it's just some kind of repetition, or a game designer not knowing what he wants in this from the start. So it's a common process, and in today's video we can see that for example I have made a mistake here, so I have to refactor this code to make it better, to solve this problem. And the problem is that these coins, they all show score under themselves, so that doesn't make much sense for me. So for example, if you have a basketball game, you don't want that every basketball player shows the score for himself. At least that's for basketball which is played today. Maybe some new sport will be in future where every player has its own score, but you don't want that. You want one score for the whole game, and every player, when every player makes a basket, when he makes score a point, you want that point added to the main score, so it will be like from 0, then +2 and so on, and the final result will be, for example, 86 versus 76. It won't be part by every player, but it will be in complete, in total. So I want that for my game. I want one score to show on the screen, and to handle all of my points, and to know in every second what happens with my game, and that is what Game Manager will do. But let's for example first show a little bit more about this action block, and try to use it on these coins first. So if I, for example, you should find the instance variables action blocks group and find the set score, and just as earlier we have shown so many times, click and drag it onto the left into your programming window, into your event. I have added it into the set score, but I don't need it here. Where do I need it? I need, what do I want here? I want this player to, when he touches the coin, I want then to add 5 points to the game. This coin 5 points, this, and so on. So let me try to do it. And how do we have learned that before? How do you call when one game object is touching other player, the enemy, or environment when they are touching? We have learned that before. It's called collision, and we have learned that when we have coded this obj portal door, because we have coded this guy to touch the door, and when he touches the door, he will be transferred into the second room. So that is coded in obj player 2 collision event. So we need that for coin also. So what do I want to do here? I want to somehow code the collision between coin and object player 2. So I want to find the event which says collision. Here it is, close at the bottom, and it says collision objects, and then pick which object do I want this coin to collide with. I want it to collide with obj player. And what do I want to happen when those two objects collide? I want to set score, and let's try it, set score 5, to see what will happen. Okay, so I'm touching the first coin, and okay, this one works, but again it only worked on one score, on one coin. So when I touch the other, it will say okay, another is 5, another is 5, and this one is 0. So I don't want that. I want that to be all connected to one score, and that's what we are going to do here. So we need one object to look at all the game all the time, and as I said before, that is done in game development through so-called game managers or game controllers, and you shouldn't be afraid of them. They are simply just objects as usual, but they can be complex for some complex games, but for some simple games such as we are making so far, they will be simple enough for us to make them. So what I have done here, I have clicked on object folder, and I want to find create object, and I want to call it obj underscore obj underscore manager. So this object, when you don't want the player to see some kind of object, some kind of box or something like that for a game controller or game manager, because it doesn't make sense. It's like invisible object. It's like an invisible eye looking at your game, and it's looking at your game whole time, and you don't want any kind of sprite or graphics attached to it. So we will leave this select sprite field empty, so no sprite is cool with me, and I'm going to add event draw, because I wanted to draw what? I wanted to draw this code here. Yeah, maybe I could do this. I will delete this event to show you another tips and tricks, and I will first change this name into obj game manager, because it will manage our whole game, probably. Not sure yet, but yeah. So what do I want to do here? When you click on some object, any kind of object, and when you click on its event, left click to select it, then right click, you can copy the whole event. So that's what I'm going to try to do here now to see what will happen. So I'm copying the draw event from obj coin, and now I'm clicking into events, left click to select it, right click to paste event, and it says okay, some kind of warning, and not sure really what this is, but I will risk with it. Some kind of warning about memory or something like that. Anyway, so I have it works. So it looks it worked. It copied the whole stuff. So what do I have here? I have draw self. I won't need that. I have a draw value random. That's for random number generator for coin. I don't need that. I will delete it. I will disable this draw self. I think I don't need it, and I will leave this get score. I need that. I need it in my obj manager, but I will delete it from my obj coin. And this draw value, I don't want that to show onto the coin as we have seen before. I want it to show in top left screen one time only. So score, target var score. Okay, so I need to add this object to the room, and it will not show as some kind of sprite instance object because it doesn't have any graphics on it. It doesn't have sprite. It will show up as some kind of question mark simple placeholder, but it's all okay. You can see that in your room editor. So here obj manager, I will drag and drop it. Yeah, lots of stuff already here. I will drag and drop it to the top. Okay, so I have that. When I now click the play game, I think I will have the score with 0 in my top left of the screen, and it says 0 score here. So we can now try to code coins, and first of all I'm going to enable this just to show, just to test if it works. Now I will have random numbers under the coins, and that will be coded through obj coin. Yeah, it works, and I have a score which is coded through obj manager. So what I want to do now, I want my player, when he touches the coin, to add 5 points, but to the score which we have coded into this obj manager. So let's do it. That sounds like some kind of little bit more complex problem. So let's try to do it in step-by-step approach. First of all, I need to define somehow a kind of collision. We already done that few moments ago with coin and obj player. So when I touch obj player, set score 5, but do I need that, or do I need to set the score onto the obj manager, game manager? So how to change this set score? This will not do anything. We can try that, but when I touch coin with obj player 2, I should have score 5, but it won't show up on the screen. Why? Because this score 5 doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have any kind of variable or score on coin, so I don't GameMaker Studio doesn't know where to add it. He knows, okay, I should add 5, but where is that score? He doesn't know that the score is here on obj game manager, because those are two separate objects. This one is obj coin and this one is obj game manager, so you have to connect them. Lucky for us, the GameMaker Studio programmers, they did that stuff also for us in drag and drop action blocks. If we had to do this in code, in raw code, GML, GameMaker language, we should make this from the scratch. We should code this from the scratch, and it would be a little bit more uh, yeah, a little bit more stuff to do. This way it's much easier. You just click on this drag and drop arrow, which is pointing to the bottom. I don't know how it's called, drop down menu. And I want to apply this to different instance. Which one do I want it to apply to myself? No. Where is my game score? Is it on myself? No. On the other? Yes. But which one? Or the all? No. Yeah, it's on the object, so I will try to find it here, object, and which one. I will make this bigger so you can see it. I want to find obj game manager, and here it is. So now it should yeah, so it changed the color of this action block. The border of it around it is some kind of pink, now violet. So now when I touch the coin with my player, with my obj white square, look at this score here, which says 0. It should change to 5. Yeah, it's simple as that. But what other problem do I have here? Because this score here, I said okay, this score will be 5, but that again doesn't make much sense for my game, because I have more than one coin. So if I want to add this one coin to pick it up, okay, but nothing changes. Yeah, this one I have a collision here, but the score is not changing. Why is that so? Because we didn't code it again. You always have to tell the GameMaker what do you want to do it, and to tell it in the most simplest way. So you have to tell him, okay, I don't want to add my score only once. I want to add it every time I touch some kind of coin. So it's not going to be 5, but it's going to be add 5 more. So if my score is 25, add 5 and it will become 30. Or for example, if my score is 95, add 5 and now it's 100. So I want to add it on and on top of each other, and we have learned that before. It's called relative. So all you have to do is check this relative box, and now it will add 5 on top of it, but we will see another problem. So it's always you solve one problem and another one rises and so on, but that shouldn't be so. You shouldn't be afraid of that. 22 minutes. You shouldn't be afraid of that, because that's, as I said, that's how computers work. You need to give them as much info as possible, and after some time, after programming a couple of games or programs, you will know most of this stuff, and it will be just a simple I don't know how it's said. It will be much simpler. Okay, so when I touch the 5, when I touch the coin, I should add the 5, but the problem here is that this score, set score, which sets the score, it's we have learned that also before. It's checked on and on and on and on as fast as your game is running. So if it's running 30 times per second, 30 times per second you will add 5. So look at the score now. It will go crazy because I'm still touching it and he is still touching. He's still adding the 5. So 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and so on. So it's 30 times 5 per second. And when I don't touch it, there is no collision, so there is no points. Again, don't be afraid, we will solve this soon, but just to be aware of it. So yeah, I don't need this. I want this to be only 5. Add 5 and stop. So I have another problem. Add 5 and stop. I don't want it to continue. So how we are going to solve that? I think we have learned that in Scratch before, not sure, or something like that, but it's not difficult. It works same in most of game engines, less or more. And the whole idea here is again to solve a couple of problems. First of all, I want this to be done once only. So for example, and yeah, I want this coin to disappear also. That I hope that makes sense when you collect the coin, it should disappear from the game scene, from the level. When you kill the enemy, it should disappear from the scene. So we are going to try to find that as a solution, and these objects on the screen, they are called instances. The object is here, the object is only one obj coin, it's a master object, and when you click and drag it here on the scene, it becomes instance, it becomes a copy, like cookie cutter and cookies. So those are cookies, and cookie cutter is here in objects folder. So I want to delete those cookies, and cookies, as we said, are instances. So I want to destroy instance, and that's what I'm typing here. I'm typing into my search box for my toolbox of action blocks. I'm typing destroy to find this destroy instance, and I'm going to click and drag it here into the collision obj player 2 for the coin obj. So when I touch now the object, I should set the score to 5 and add it to my score, and the coin should disappear. I'm not sure this will work 100% because maybe it's dependent on frame rate, so maybe again it will add, instead of 5, maybe it will add a couple of more, like 10 or 15. So let's try it. No, it works fine. Cool. So it's 5, so when I touch this, how much it will be? 5 plus 5, 10. And why is that so? Because we have checked this relative checkbox here. If we didn't check that, it would always be 5 and 5. So it's like, for example, if I'm playing a basketball game which gives me 5 points, and I make this the basket made the score, so it's like plus 5. Okay, I have 15, I have 20, and so on, 25. So this works great. We have learned a couple of new things. I think this is it. And what I wanted to show you here, one more thing. I think it will be useful for some of you, and for some of you this will be confusing. Yeah, but yeah, I think it's smart just to see it, even if you don't understand it right now. On the long term, it will make sense. And what that is, this code, as in Scratch, is read from top to the bottom. So first is read set score, then destroy instance, and that makes sense for my game. When I touch this coin, I want to add 5 points and then destroy it. It doesn't make sense to for me to, for example, click and drag it here and destroy it and then add score. Why? Because for most of us, again, because we're thinking as humans, when I destroy this coin, when it's not visible on the screen, it's destroyed. How can it code this set score and read it when it's destroyed? So if I destroyed it here, he cannot read this set score, but actually it can in GameMaker and most of the game engines, other game engines. Even if you destroy the instance, I think this will work. It will first destroy it and then read the code below it. So if I, for example, had like 50 or I don't know, 100 action blocks below destroy, I think the GameMaker would read it, and it would go through them, it would publish them, it would do what you wanted to do. Okay, so now I'm first going to destroy it and then add. Yeah, it works. And for me, this is even makes more sense. Why? Because I will leave it this way, because as I said before, when you touch this coin, sometimes if I have left it like here, sometimes maybe this score add 5 relative will be read couple of times because of the frame rate of, or I don't know, your computer game maker, how it works and so on. So I'm not sure. I think that happened to me for some other problems, but to be sure, first I'm going to destroy it to make I read everything below destroyed only once. So this destroy instance will be called, and GameMaker will read everything below it just once. But if I leave it like here above, I'm not sure. I'm not going to risk, so I will leave it like here. And I think that's it. Yeah, half an hour. How much? Yeah. How long? Set score. Yeah. So what we have learned here today, we have learned that when you want to show the score on the screen, you have the get score. We have learned that in previous video. Get score action block down below in instance variables action block groups, and the second from the left, just click and drag it into the event, and it will get the score for you. That means it will tell you the score, like get me the score, what is the score, and so on. Like if you have asked someone watching the game what is the score, he will tell you, but to show it on the screen, to show it for others to see, you have to use that target variable in combination with draw value. You have to draw that score on the screen. I hope that makes sense. And that score, when you get that score with get score, it's always zero. It's always zero by default. It's again, it makes sense. It's how games and sport games begins. The basketball games begins with 0-0. So you want the score to be 0, but after some time you want to change that score, and for that purpose you use set score. Again, it's the action block which is down below in group, which is called instance variables, the first from the left, and you just click and drag it into the event you want. For my game, I have added it to this coin, because the coin will be connected to score. It will make score in my game, so every time I touch the coin I want to set the score. That means change the score. I want it to change for 5 points, and I want it to be relative to edit, and I want it to edit not on this obj coin, because we have made a new object which will control the score and other stuff, and we have called it obj manager. So don't forget to pick the one if you have more than one object. So pick one from these available objects, and that will set the score. But in my game, for example, I have also wanted to destroy this instance, destroy this coin from the screen, because I wanted to be picked only once. When I pick the coin, I want it to disappear and add, that means destroy instance, and add, that means set score 5 or 5 points. Okay, so that makes sense for me at least, and we will use the same approach for other stuff here. Like it's always the same for these instance variables, because that's what they are. GameMaker programmers, they made some of instance variables for you. They just made variables, they made them available for instances. That's why they are called instance variables, and they have made it for most usual stuff you will need for your game, like score. So I need score, I need to get score, I need to set, I need some health, lives, get lives, set lives, health, set health, and so on. And then when your games become more and more complex, you will need to add some kind of conditions here, and we will learn that in later videos. So that's it for this video, a little bit longer, but we have learned a few interesting points today. So until next one, keep on learning, keep on scratching, keep on game making with GameMaker or Unity or Unreal or whatever you use. It doesn't matter, just use them, those game engines or whatever software you use as the tools, and make something interesting. That's it for today. Bye for now, and see you in next video.